We'll now move on to Edo State. The National Working Committee of the All Progressives Congress has decided to adopt the direct mode of primary for choosing its candidates for the forthcoming Edo State governorship election, while also stepping down the issue of zoning. The party's Deputy National Publicity Secretary, Duru Meseko, said a letter of undertaking will be attached to the nomination forms, which aspirants are expected to sign to indicate that whatever the outcome of the primary election scheduled for next month, they will not go to court. He added that only one out of the 29 aspirants, Clement Agba, has picked the expression of interest and nomination forms, urging stakeholders to work towards pruning the number to a manageable size. Well, tonight I'm being joined by another aspirant who was at that meeting, Gideon Ikhine, who is a civil engineer from Esan West in Edo State, specifically Edo Central. Thank you so much for joining us on the program. And of course, you're from the zone that's agitating for justice and fair play, if I may borrow those words. Thank you so much for joining us on the program. Well, you were at that meeting. What exactly is making the APC to step down the issue of zoning, which your own area of Edo State is canvassing, strongly that it should be a factor in electing the next APC governorship candidate?
Sambo, thank you for having me tonight. First of all, my heart goes out to the people of Oyo State over the incident of the explosion, and I pray that God will console them.
Amen.
Well, tonight, APC as a party is a family, and you must look at things that look at this from that perspective. As a family, at all points, you have to do what will be acceptable to all. Now, coming to the issue of the aspirants, you could see we have 29 able people who are yearning to correct the ills that we have in the state. There has to be a problem before people can stand up to say, I want to solve this problem. So if the magnitude of the problem is so ugly, you see a lot of people coming out to say we need to solve this problem.
That's why we have a huge turnout.
That's why you have a huge turnout. So when we are now talking of the issue of direct primaries that we want to have, don't forget the issue of direct primaries means that every card-carrying member of the party will have an opportunity to equally express their democratic right to be able to say this is the aspirant that I need. Because you don't expect the entire state to come out to say, I want to run. But this time around, because of the agitation, and we want to get down to the grassroots, we are giving power back to the people. Then when you look at 29 people, you don't expect every person, only one will be taken. So in the wisdom of the leadership of the party, there's need to prune it down so that you have very few people that will go in, because after the primaries, the election will be coming in. So pruning it down does not mean disenfranchising any person. Like I always say in a football match, you have people who play in the goalkeeping aspect, some in the defense, some in the midfield. So we have so many footballers. But this time around, we are going to play only one striker. So there's need to prune it down to identify the right striker that will score the right goal. And in their wisdom, we've decided to do that, which is okay, it's acceptable by all of us. Because as a family, we have come to that.
So you have agreed that there should be a sort of consensus. Is that what you're settling?
We need to have a consensus candidate. It might not please everybody, but at the best, the moment you prune down, you'll be able to look at your best. Because a man that offered himself for service has done very well. But if you have offered yourself, you must have a vision. And vision is always something that is collective. So if you don't have it, if you have your vision, we put our vision into the basket, we sieve it and take the best that will be good for the state.
Yeah, but the party is asking aspirants to go sit down and choose from themselves.
No,
would you agree to step down, or would you be canvassing that others should come and
No. The aspirant does not have the capacity to do that.
Yeah, I mean, that's where people actually find it difficult.
If any person telling you that the aspirant will do that, it's only deceiving himself. That's why you have leadership. And by the grace of God in the state, most of our leaders have come together. They've been able to demonstrate leadership in the direction we should go. And that's to let you know that as a family, we respect hierarchy. We don't break hierarchies. So and at the end of the day, whatever aspirant we pick up, it will be easier for us to come together to persecute the election. Because the election in Edo State, as of today, is for us to lose. And we don't want to get into that circle.
Yeah, but they're very top aspirants in this APC. I mean, you have former Minister Clem Agba, you have Professor Sareme Osumbo, you also have Pastor Izeyamu, and so many of you, I mean, including one of my guests that I had yesterday. So people are saying, how will this consensus be reached? Shouldn't the party actually look for a way to do it instead of handing it back to aspirants?
Sambo,
because it will be difficult for you to want to step down for each other.
It's an in-house thing. I want you to understand that in the last 3-4 days, we the aspirants have met. And we've had various meetings with our leaders. In Edo State today, the leader we have for us as a party there is Adam Oshomole. He doesn't have anything to prove again. He's been governor, he's been labor leader, and he's a senator right now. So he's put everything in his kitting. So he's going to sit in a position where he's going to be fair to all. And we must listen to him.
And you think he won't be accused of wanting to be a godfather for the second time again?
Well,
after the Obaseki era.
You
were in the PDP and you were the deputy campaign DG in the PDP before all the Obaseki issues started coming up.
Well, that lies again. I was in the PDP. You saw what happened. I've always been somebody that puts the state first. If you recall, when Obaseki came then and the whole party came and said Obaseki must come in and all others, I stepped aside. I didn't step down. I said, yeah, you go ahead. I gave all the support to the party. And I gave him my structure. I campaigned for him and he won the election. After winning the election, I'm one of those that never took one kobo from Obaseki. Rather, I contributed to his campaign. Are
you willing to still do so? If you're asked by Adam Oshomole to step down for someone else, would you be willing to do that again?
That's exactly what I'm saying. Stepping down is different from right now. What we are looking at, we are looking for the best fit candidate. Today, a lot of people will tell you they have an ambition to be governor. Some people will tell you they have dream. Many people are in the race because they don't even understand what awaits them. But you are talking to somebody who is fully prepared for this assignment.
So you think you are that candidate that all other aspirants can step down
for the past 20 years, for the past 20 years, I've been preparing for this. I know what I want. Like I always say, I'm the only aspirant today in the field across the political party that have been to the 192 ward, had conversation, draw up a program on your need basis. I know every angle of Edo State. Some people cannot even define the 18 local government, not to talk of defining the 192 ward. Some people do not even understand the history of Edo State. They cannot actualize the problem we are facing as Edo State. So when you are able to articulate the problem that is on ground, that's when you can say, okay, I want to provide solution to that.
So what are you going to do differently from Governor Obaseki and the PDP that has been in power, having come from there?
Well, I'll tell you something. We must look at why we have failed in the past.
Oh, so you admit that the PDP has failed in the past?
Yeah, PDP. We must look at how we have failed as a state in the past. You see, if the backbone and the structure that carries the state is wrong, everything about it will be wrong. Number one, any person that wants to rule Edo State must make up his mind that he's not going to rule, he's going to lead. And leading in the direction of leadership is you must bring unity to the state. As a state, Edo State, you might have the Afema, you might have the Isha, you might have the Bini. We're all from one root, one stem, which is Benin Kingdom. Benin Kingdom, as is known today, is not Oredo or Edo State. Benin Kingdom spans to Dahomey Basin, up to Benin Republic. And when you talk of Benin Kingdom, we are all from the same loin of the Oba of Benin. Their territories have to be carved out for traditional rulers, and they were given independence over their traditional stools. So the moment we realize we are all brothers, you don't have to come from a Central to say, now it's time for me to develop Central. You don't have to come from North and say, now it's for me to develop a Ekperi.
Yeah, but your own zone is asking for this issue of zoning to be upheld in the APC.
Okay, fine.
APC is saying that it doesn't operate on zoning basis. Would this zoning issue stepped down? Doesn't it affect your own chances?
Well, I'll tell you something. I am not running because I'm from Misha. I'm running because I'm the best fit candidate to be the governor of Edo State in terms of preparation, in terms of mental capacity, and in terms of vision. My vision is to make Edo State a destination of first choice for any person coming to Africa. Don't forget, when our president was running for election, he said, if you want me to give Edo State back to APC, everybody shouted yes. That was not what drew my attention. He said something that was very fundamental that aligned with my vision. He said, I'll give Edo State back to APC, and Edo State will have the biggest economy in Nigeria, bigger than that of Lagos. I felt at that moment he was talking to me. That was when I aligned myself with APC. Because when you move on a journey and you discover that your vision aligns with people's vision, you are bound to align with that. So I was trying to tell you the problem for any person that will be leadership in Edo. There are 3 cardinal things he must do. 1, he must have capacity to unite us. Uniting us means understanding the roles of the traditional rulers, uniting them and bringing every person together as one family. The second thing for any person to become governor of Edo State, irrelevant of what the party is, you must introduce what you call the party supremacy. The reason things are not working is that by the time somebody becomes a governor, becomes an independent marketer, he has nobody to report to. Party structure must be reinforced. So when you reinforce and reorganize the civil service structure, you must integrate party leadership as a board in every segment of the ministry. Because don't forget, as a governor or as a party, you have covenanted with your people, and your covenant with your people is your manifesto. You owe it to them to bring it to bear. Now, if you owe it to them and that is your manifesto, who monitors you? You don't serve God, you are not a Muslim, you are not a native doctor, then you must be God. You must submit to a body.
So that's the situation we'll be having.
That's the situation we'll be having. So
okay.
you have people coming in, nobody's asking them, this is our program. How far have you gone?
Yeah, I want to ask you, if you're faced with this sort of situation Obaseki had with those lawmakers that were suspended, how would you resolve that kind of problem?
I would want to tell you that for Obaseki to do, and with a lot of respect to Obaseki, it's only cowards that behave that way. If you are a coward, you don't let people talk back to you. If people won their election, why can't you let them come into the house? Don't forget they represent a constituent in the state.
Yeah, but he also had his seat to protect.
His
intention was to actually
impeach selfishness.
If he had allowed them to be
governance is not about you. Governance is about the people. When you now make it about you, you don't have regard and respect for the people. Don't forget, what he succeeded in doing was to disenfranchise people in the state from having proper representation. That's what he did. And it's only cowards that behave that way. Why didn't you allow them to come in? You sit down. You see, he knew what he wanted to do. And that itself is a crime against the state. And it's a crime against the people. And if he sleeps with all consciousness that he did that and he was happy, he has God to report to.
Now, do you think the PDP will be punished by the people of Edo for that act?
For
those constituents not enjoying the support of those that they elected into the House
I don't feel sorry.
The governor, they allowed them to be sworn.
I don't feel sorry for PDP because they were driven by greed to go and bring Obaseki because they wanted to be in power. I had my program. I was a leading candidate for PDP. I was the only person that was in the street for 2 years. I visited all hamlets. So but greed came into them because they saw the pulse. That's why we have to look at money politics vis-a-vis the people's interest. So today, PDP as a state have failed. PDP have no place in history in Edo State.
All right, as we try to round off this conversation, APC governorship primary election will hold next month. Yeah. Talk to us about some of the strategies you're putting in place to ensure that indeed you are well accepted by those who will be voting you, because I mean, it's going to be a tough one going into a direct primary election. That means you have to be going around the entire state, which is the major challenge. That's if there's no consensus.
First of all, I'm a winner anytime, any day. When I was on the other side, I had a group and a team. We won the Senate, first time, second time. Then myself and my team left PDP to APC, and we formed a group which is called Bakota. We led a movement, and we gave the senatorial seat to APC for the first time. My senatorial won the senatorial seat for APC. Yeah. We didn't only do that. I equally won my House of Assembly seat with the array and money of PDP in my state. Now, talking about acceptance, you don't feed a striker that cannot score goals. Today in Edo State, if we want to win, we had collaboration with PDP when we won in the last election. APC as it stands, or PDP as it stands, no single party can win election in the state, except you have somebody that's ready to create a phenomenon to drag people from other party. And
you think you're the person?
Well, today, if I'm blessed and privileged to represent my party, APC, I know people in PDP will be very happy because they see me as a messiah.
And you think you can defeat someone like Aswani Godalo if eventually he emerges as the PDP?
Aswani Godalo is a non-starter.
Okay.
Because it's a mirror image of Obaseki. And what you have is what you give. If a failure gives birth to a child, that child eventually becomes a failure.
All right. Just very quickly in 30 seconds, you promised something about the Ojirami Dam that you were going to improve on it and make sure that, you know, it's able to provide water for people. I'm very interested in that project.
Okay.
Very quickly.
I'll just quickly run it down. Today in Edo State, we have a lot of things we need to do. Oil is going to fail. If oil is going to fail, we need to look at agric. And I'm going to pursue agric on 4 streams. We are going to look at food crop, cash crop, dairy, ranch, and we are going to look at fishery.
All right.
All right? And if we are going to look at all this, we have to look at the comparative advantage of every area. You are talking about Akoko Edo. In Akoko Edo, we used to have cattle ranch. If you want to feed 4 million people every day with beef, you need to cultivate 25 acres, not hectares, 25 acres of land to put your cattle. Akoko Edo have that. The Ojirami Dam was supposed to provide water with a headroom of about 9 meters. Ojirami Dam was conceived in the 70s. It failed in the 80s. Subsequent government have not been able to do that. Ojirami Dam failed because they used a spill gate, a sluice gate, instead of a spillway.
Well, you're an engineer, so that's why I had to ask you that
question.
question.
We need to rebuild it. Okay. Instead of having a headroom of just 9 meters, we need to increase it to get hydro and to be able to do agriculture. It's supposed to provide water for the whole of Edo North. So we need to do that.
All right.
Not just that in Edo North also. In our government, if APC push me forward to represent them, the first 4 years, we are going to cut the journey between the north and south by 2 hours.
All right. I'm afraid we do not have enough time.
So I can tell you all the programs we want to do.
I can see that you're getting prepared fully for this position. But of course, you have other 28 persons to contend with, and I don't envy you. That's what I can tell you right now.
I quickly go
Gideon
back there.
Ikhine,
I told you that.
He's an APC governorship aspirant for Edo State. I think we'll have the conversation over time as time goes on. But for now, I'm afraid this is the time that I have for you. And we must thank you so much for joining us on the program, and we'll continue to be there and watch. Just make sure that things go on very well.
Sambo, before you cut off, you have to be prophetic. You have to address me as the incoming governor of Edo State.
All
because
right,
I'm going to lead my people.
I'm not a prophet, but if that's what you want, I wish you all the best.